allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now we'll do the roll call.
Maddie, absent. Sledge.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Henderson here. Stewart.
Here.
Shoemaker.
Here.
Seals, absent. Delucky.
Here. Okay, approval of agenda. Anybody got anything to add to the agenda? Any changes? Hearing none, motion to approve the agenda is presented.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved unanimously. Approval of minutes from October 1st.
Does anybody have any changes?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 1st, 2012 as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay. So term expiration. Thank you very much. So Chris Ledge and Dale Smith are up December 31st. So hopefully you guys want to re-up. So you just have to submit a letter to the office stating so, and hopefully you'll be reinstated. And after the exemplary year that we had this year, let's see why not. So, and then next year, let's see, Tom Seals is up and so am I. And Michael will no longer be with us, right? Are you gonna stay on next year?
No, somebody else will be in that rotation.
Who said somebody else?
That's why he's being so nice.
Well, when we accepted that, we were going to do a one-year rotation. But somehow or another, I think I got 3 out of the last 4 years. Is that how it worked? Maybe
Yeah, he's been on for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we like you.
Yeah.
That's good rotation.
I made the recommendation maybe Harry or Trustee Audi would.
That's what I was waiting for before I decided.
Or
I got some feathers, if somebody got some tar, we can.
or even Steve
Shoot.
maybe would come back because he's
He's on for a long time.
already been on. I mean, he might be the better candidate. And my issue is that I am coaching, and I don't want to miss meetings
Yeah.
to coach.
Is that a voluntary thing to this board, or?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not paid.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Now,
it's
if
nice.
he comes back on, that means he wouldn't be able to be on the zoning board.
Correct. We would rotate.
So you'd be on the zoning board.
Probably.
That's a side note. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah. Because I was on there once already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Harry could go to the zoning board.
Or Harry, or
Yeah.
I don't know about the other guys if any of them would want to either. So
Yeah.
I will probably allow somebody else to do this.
Okay.
No disrespect to anybody here.
Okay, so moving along, master plan. So as I think you all know, council had the right, or not the obligation to approve the master plan, but they've given it back to planning. So in the zoning, Michigan Planning and Enabling Act, it was supposed to be the Planning Commission that passed the that adopted the master plan, but in 2004, council decided they wanted to do it, so it was one of the in the amendments of the master plan before we redid it. So at October, one of October's meetings, council rescinded that and put it back into planning's hands. So that's why it's here tonight. So we already approved it, but we approved it to go to council. So now we have to approve it as the end body. So,
Even though we might change the addendums?
well, but that, we're just changing, we're just adopting the master plan,
Okay,
not the amendments.
okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So,
Can I just add real
Sure,
quickly,
yep.
that council was very ecstatic that everybody, or that planning commission was able to get this done. They appreciate all the time and effort that was put in. They all know that it's a long process and a lot of time, so they were very thankful for planning commission's job.
yep. And we couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Smith.
Yeah, without everybody
Yeah.
made contributions.
Well, that's true, but the, your appraiser connections were.
Came in handy?
Yeah, that was a good section of it. Okay, so I'm gonna read a resolution. Those are the resolution, Village Armada Planning Commission Master Plan. This is to certify that at a regular meeting of the Village Planning Commission consisting of a quorum of more of the municipal body duly called and held November 5th, 2012, the following resolution was adopted. Be it resolved that the Planning Commission has reviewed and prepared all changes, additions, and or deletions pertaining to the Master Plan of 2000, and being satisfied that the information contained is thorough and complete. Be it further resolved, the newly proposed plan shall be recognized as the Village of Armada Master Plan of 2012. Any discussion?
Sounds good.
A motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'd like to say again, I'm pretty proud of this board for pulling this off, because we pretty much wrote this master plan with not much, we had help from the planners, but we wrote it. It was the planner kind of took what we gave them and made it look better, but it was basically our text. Our text and our numbers. So anyway, good job.
Yeah, one thing I like to say about it is, what I like about this is the fact that it fits Armada Village. You know, where before it was kind of, parts of it were pretty generic, and that's one thing I do like that we got accomplished, is it does fit Armada, it's tailored to our town, and I think that's one thing we did good.
Yeah, we tried really hard for that. We tried that in the text, and I think the planner, so the planner's input was to make our plan look better, and they added pictures. So we didn't have any pictures, and they actually came to the village, took pictures throughout the village, residencies, businesses, industrial properties, and it's throughout the master plan. So whenever they're talking about something, there's a picture of that area under discussion. And there's pictures throughout the master plan. It's a really nice piece. So I'm very happy with our planner for that too. So, okay, moving on, future plans. So every year we do a summary of what we did the past year, and then what we'd like to do the next year. So we do this kind of in January. So we kind of talked about it at the last meeting of what we were going to do. So the appendixes for the master plan, I think we should look at those. We were talking about special approval land use in the zoning ordinance, and we were going to look at the zoning ordinance to see what else there was to that we wanted to maybe change or update. So we already did the sign ordinance. And does anybody else have anything that they'd like to look at?
Well, one thing, Ben, I didn't get a chance to like read every word in this thing, but the wireless communications facilities, didn't you say that was kind of taken out of our control?
Yes.
So maybe that's something we should need to update.
Yeah. Anything else? Well, you got something else, Dale?
Yeah, just a little nit and nat kind of thing, but some of these things I can't. I just can't picture them being in a residential area. And the one I was looking at was kennels, like dog kennels, that they're allowed in the village. You know, somebody could have like 20 dogs or something. Is that correct?
Only by your house.
Oh, yeah.
Was it 2 dogs or something like that?
It just seems like an odd thing to be in a residential area to have, I grew up with a kennel. We had a kennel club. So I grew up and we had 21 dogs at one time. And I know the ruckus that 21 dogs can make, and I just can't picture that in residential.
Especially if they're outside. If they're inside, that's one thing, but if they're outside,
Yeah,
that's...
well, these were like inside and outside. They were allowed to go out. They're caged in, but they were allowed to go outside. And they can make some noise.
Yeah. So, and those are the things that we should look at. So I'm kind of hoping that, what we would all do is do just kind of what Mr. Smith has done and look at the zoning ordinance. What do we like? What don't we like? What we think that we should do? What kind of needs to be addressed, and maybe come to January's meeting with some ideas, and then we'll kind of get a plan from there. Okay, so then public comment. There's nobody in the audience. The TV audience can't respond, so I'm going to move on to chair report. So last month we talked about a seminar that Roe was going to give. So Tom Seals and I were going to go. Something happened and Tom couldn't go, but I went. So what I have to, after going, and it was a really good seminar to go to. A lot of them that you go to are for big municipalities. They're on urban sprawl or urban development. A lot of stuff, that really doesn't pertain to Armada and we can't use. But pretty much everything they had in there was of interest to us. Did you know there's permeable concrete and permeable asphalt? So you can have a slab of concrete and pour water through it, and it'll drain right through it like a sponge. Or asphalt. So anyway, these were things that they talked about. They're not very feasible. You really have to have a specific application for it because it's really high maintenance and it costs a lot of money. But what I did find out is that our little board is pretty much right on top of what we're supposed to be doing, and with the what we did last year with the passing the permeable parking surfaces, so the crushed stone in lieu of asphalt or concrete. That's really old school, but in today's thing, that's kind of cutting edge. So a lot of it was. So what they were trying to do was get your parking areas and things to drain, which we looked at last year. A big thing was signs. So they talked about signage and digital signs and LED signs. So the reader board signs that we spent a lot of time on. And all the points that they talked about, the colors, the timing, the scrolling, we all addressed all of it. And we kind of did that, not really knowing what we were doing, just in a common sense thing, but they had all that stuff. And where we were, there was some people that wanted it monochromatic, which took 4 colors. We did no scrolling and had a, there's kind of a federal guideline, and it went from 0 to 10 seconds. We were at 4 seconds, so we were right in the guideline. I mean, so everything we did on that sign ordinance towards those reader board signs was pretty much right where we should be. So I was pretty impressed and kind of had my chest puffed out. So, and then they talked about, one thing that they did talk about that we didn't, but we really don't do any streetscape stuff, is LED lighting for streetscapes or parking. So they use a lot less power. They showed some pictures of illumination pictures, and they illuminated a lot better. So they had a more wide coverage, so if we ever get a parking lot, it might be nice to put something like that in. And so what was the thing here? So anybody wants to look at these.
And those LED lights are a lot smaller, a lot lower? Or
yeah, there's actually different designs. You can actually have them kind of like a bollard, like a building in front of building, overhead doors. You know, they'll have them so the trucks don't hit. But they have kind of things like that that are have lights on the top. Then there's also, they actually have street lights that are LEDs. They did talk about the fireworks safety thing. Council has pretty much already addressed that. They talked about the Zoning Enabling Act. We already did that. They talked about briefly about the cell tower thing, but we knew about that because we'd already done a cell tower this year just before the law went into effect, and the law went into effect. There's also so part of it was called New Technology and Community Enhancement. So their PowerPoints were sustainable water trends, stormwater trends, previous services, LED lighting, digital signs, and ID exchange, and recent planning and zoning issues. So I mean, everything that they talked about was pertained to Armada, so it was pretty nice. So they also had this other thing that was, it's a plastic grid. So it kind of looks like if you, on your thing, it's on the second page on the bottom on the left. So I'll pass this over to you guys too. But it's a plastic grid. It's about 2.5 inches thick, if I remember correct. And you plant grass in it, but it's a parking area. So the plastic grid, if it gets wet, you can't make a rut. So the plastic holds your tire on, but you still have the grass. So
You have something like that on Van Dyke Expressway by Romeo, correct?
I don't know. You can't see it. You can't see the plastic.
The grass is grown over now, but it's a cut through for emergency vehicles. So
Oh,
you
sure.
Michigan
Could
line.
be. Yep. And there was another one with
Yeah.
brick pavers. So they had a special brick paver that made kind of like a checkerboard. So it'd be one thing grass, one thing brick, one thing grass, one thing brick. But
And the grass grew, even only being a brick.
well,
size?
we did ask them about that, and they said, well, in times of when there wasn't very much rain, you had to augment by watering. So, in other words, there's not very much of a root system, and if you don't water it, it's going to turn brown. So, but the grid, the plastic grid, sounded kind of neat, but it was kind of expensive. Everything they talked about was expensive. So, So anyway, you guys can look at that. So, and it was in downtown Flint. They said they were gonna have, more seminars, it was free. So, maybe we could, go to some next ones, if they have them again.
Looks like we got a lot of stuff about Michigan fireworks stuff in here too, huh?
Those were handouts, so they talked about it, but it really was the thing that you were looking at first.
Yeah,
So that was
technology
kind of the fireworks stuff, that council had that, talked about that one.
They actually have light bulb, LED bulbs there for rack replacements for your incandescents. And for these, we now, all our trailers are doing them now, these are about 5 amps. The LED drop-ins are half the size and 1 amp.
Uh-huh.
So it's a government, for us, it's a government mandate we have to do by next year, so there's only one company though that sells the product, so.
Well, and that's pretty much what they said, there's not, it's fairly expensive at this time, but it's something to consider for the future.
Cost is already plummeted by 75–80%, even just in the last year and a half now, because there's, the bulb technology is what's doing it. The ropes and stuff now are even more, we're doing that now, everything with rope for accent lighting, and it's like, what went from $30 a foot is now, maybe like $1.50 a foot. But that market's been saturated, and there's a lot of players there now, so.
Yeah, it said in there you can retrofit your existing lights.
Yep, yeah. Yeah, so you don't have to change poles or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The globes and everything.
Fireworks thing.
Mhm.
That's pretty neat.
So it's a separate,
That'd probably be a big cost savings out of that.
Yeah, and they did say that over, you know, it would pay for
What they're
itself.
saying is
but,
the state protects the, was it 30 days?
As Chris is saying, that, you know, the cost is going down, so just, you know,
Just gotta wait on
you
it.
gotta weigh it,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's keeping track of it, and quality's getting better too.
Good.
Yeah, so that's it. If there's nothing else in front of the, so there's no applications in December, we won't have a meeting. So our next meeting will be in January. Anybody have any objections to that one?
Not I.
Yeah,
So much going on in December anyway.
yeah.
There's the date.
yeah, is it gonna be like
It's
January
like
2nd?
I think it's the next week, isn't it?
Yeah, we should
January
say
1st is a
January.
Wednesday,
Is it
so,
Wednesday? Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
thinking Wednesday.
or Tuesday, I'm sorry, Christmas and,
That's just thinking this year.
Christmas is a Tuesday, so New Year's is a Tuesday.
So we should set January's meeting.
That would be January 7th. I won't be here, my birthday's the 8th, no, I'm kidding.
January 7th.
Right.
So the dollar store is, they have shelves in, they have products inside, so.
Yeah, it started to look like a
yeah,
store.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, so maybe they'll open pretty soon.
Still haven't, done anything with their C of O.
Excuse me?
Still haven't done
Oh, no?
anything towards their C of O.
Oh, no.
I have.
That's on Dennis's side though, right?
Right.
On our
Yeah.
side,
We're good on our side.
our side,
right.
they took care of the fence, the
Well,
shrubs
see,
were there.
but- and Dennis will take care of all that with
Oh.
the, he won't give them the C of O unless all the conditions are met from
Okay.
our approval.
Yeah, but they did do something with the dumpster.
Yeah.
And, the other question was about screening, the parking lot screening, but that was full of mature and alive, so. I couldn't remember what, if there was an issue with it way back when, but the plantings that had died had been replaced and everything was fine.
Good.
Yeah.
And then Larry's. out of
Larry's
work.
is up and running
Keeping
and,
it along.
That was
they
amazing.
broke ground today and poured concrete for the pads for the bolts, for some of the bolts. So I don't know how much they did, I just saw them over there with an auger and I saw a cement truck there.
It was like one day that house was there, the next day it was gone.
Yeah, it's 2 days, that was it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Progress.
So in the berms, he's got, the dirt's in for the berms, the berms are roughly in place. Kind of, within a couple of weeks, probably see a building with sheeting on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah, a lot of
addition.
people have been asking about that too, like, you know, when it will be open, and they actually asked me, what's it gonna be? You know, because if you
Yeah,
don't come to
I
these
got that
meetings, you
question.
don't necessarily know,
Yeah.
Right.
so.
Yeah, being right on Fulton like that, everybody drives by it and
Yeah.
wondering what the heck's going on here, you know?
Yeah.
Cool, that's gonna be nice.
So what we're talking about is Larry's Automotive. A few meetings ago, a few months ago, they came in and they were approved for a site in South Fulton, just south of the Armada Orchard Trail, or excuse me, not the Armada Orchard Trail, but the Macomb Orchard Trail. And Fulton, so they're on that southwest corner. And in there, they took down a house, that's where, and then next to that was Hicks Oil and Propane. Larry's been using that for a parking area and storage lot. So that's now been consolidated into one lot, and he's gonna build a repair facility with 8 bays there. And his existing building is gonna remaining, and he's gonna take that and put that into a storage area and have his wreckers run out of there. So it's just kind of a switch. So, anything else? Okay.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
See you next year.
Yeah, so meeting's January 7th, or our next meeting, unless we have an applications. And so, motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody wants to stay?
I'm always making the motion to adjourn. Let somebody else do it.
Sure.